Hello everyone. If you hear a machine in the background, it is the tower fan slash air purifier here in the house. For you who have watched my lives, you know that I relocated a little bit further down south back to my hometown. And right now it's the middle of summer of 2025 at the time of this recording. And we are literally going through a heat wave where the high for the day is in the low to mid 100s. The temperature is teetering around between 90 and 95, and when you figure in the humidity, it's over 100. So I'm indoors, and we're trying to stay put. So in addition to the air conditioner, we got a tower fan going on. So now that I've given you the weather report, I want to go ahead and give you today's thought. And I was thinking about people who just want something for nothing. And for those of you who didn't watch that video, check it out. I'll go ahead and pin it here. But I wanted to add on to that because some people want something for very little. And I want to say that's the majority of the population we're dealing with nowadays when it comes to unhealed people. What they'll do is try to put in as little effort as possible and expect everything. And to give a quick analogy on that, you could basically say that the people want to make pretty pictures using only one crayon. Remember when you were a little kid, you used to get a coloring book, and the more crayons you had, the prettier the picture. And we had this thing when I was in school where whoever had the biggest crayon box was the coolest kid in class, you know. We're talking around kindergarten, first grade, second grade. So if you came to school with a box of only like 8 or 16 crayon, you were pretty much average. But boy, you get that 24 pack, and back in the day they had the 48 pack, and then I think the biggest pack they had was 64. Boy, if you had the 64 pack, you was everybody's friend because people could come borrow your crayons and make prettier pictures because there weren't as many colors available. Well, sometimes people only use one box of crayon through their whole life. They color everything the same. You know, their relationships, the jobs. Because of limiting beliefs, they're using that one crayon throughout their whole life. But they want to have the life that involves the whole 64 box of crayons. But it's like they want the same picture with that one crayon, but they want that picture to turn out to be the one that had the 64 crayons. You know what I mean, guys? Anyway, I want to say the majority of the unhealed population is like that. It's not that they don't want something for nothing. It's that they want to put in as little as possible and get everything in return. And then when they don't get it, all of a sudden they're victims. All of a sudden it's the world's fault. It's the system's fault. It's the government's fault. It's somebody else's fault. The bottom line is you only used one crayon and you want to make this beautiful masterpiece of a picture with one crayon. And what makes it even worse is that box of 64 crayons is within eyesight. These people already know what they need to do to get that 64 box of crayons to make that picture prettier, whether it's getting married or getting a divorce or accepting a job or getting a better job or going to school or finishing school. They know that their big picture is going to involve these things. But they still have that one crayon mentality, and they put in as little as possible and expect to have everything that everybody else who actually put in the work has received, and have the nerve to get angry about it. It's mama's fault, it's daddy's fault, it's grandma's fault, it's your sister's fault, your brother's fault, it's your baby mama's fault, baby daddy's fault, husband's fault, church's fault, the job's fault, the economy's fault, the government's fault, the landlord's fault. It's everybody else's fault but yours. That box of 64 crayons has been in your sight for years. All you had to do is just reach a little bit further, put forth just a little bit more effort, and get your hands on that box of crayons. But because the way you were trained or allowed to think or laziness or whatever you want to call it, you won't get that box of crayons so you can take that and make that pretty picture you want. You want to keep that one crayon in your hand and have the nerve to get mad when everybody else has their pretty pictures that they used all the crayons for. And the world is talking about how pretty their picture is, and you're mad because nobody's saying nothing about your picture because you only used one crayon to color it. Just one. So I guess I'll title this one, Something for Little. We've already done something for nothing, but we're doing something for little. You already know what you need to do to improve your situation. But because of your belief system or whatever, the way you were raised or the people you hang around or the people you got involved with or your economics that affected your thought process where you feel it's not necessary to make that effort, extra effort, gives you this sense of entitlement where you feel you need to have the same picture as everybody else. I'm going to tell a little story and I'm going to let you guys go. This is a general story and a lot of you have probably gone through it. But let's just say that you have a person who has been out of school for a little while. They graduated high school. And let's say it's about 18, 19 years old. They got the high school diploma, but didn't go directly into college. Now, don't get me wrong. College is not for everybody. But it kind of helps to have a experience similar to that with a Job Corps, Peace Corps, whatever the case may be, so you can go out in the world and deal with people, build a business, go out and deal with people so you'll know how to survive in this world. Because truth be told, there's going to be a point in time where you're going to have to do it on your own at some time or another. And the longer that you wait to do it, the harder it's going to be for you. Because as we age, we develop an ideology. We develop a system of morals and values, whether it be right or wrong. And it's going to be harder for a lot of us to learn at that point. And we give up hope after a while. So let's say this young person didn't further on their life. They just got their paper and they just went back home the next day as if everything's okay. Didn't do anything to try to advance themselves. Get a job and advance themselves. Join the military. Go to college. Start a business. They didn't try to make any changes to advance their situation and become a productive member of society. That's okay for a little while. They bullshitted for a little while. But what happens is 5 years later, 10 years later, the same people that they hung around with, they're not around anymore. And they're not around anymore because they actually went out and started to grow. They have families. They have careers. They have businesses. They're building themselves as individuals. They've gone into ministry. They're doing volunteer work. They're doing something that is more adult-oriented. They have responsibilities like bills and rent and things like that. And even though you hear in the economy about how horrible it is to have these things, it doesn't matter how much money you have, you're going to have a bill for something in this life. You may own your house, but you still have to pay taxes and insurance. You may own your vehicles. You still have to pay for maintenance and insurance and tax and registration upkeep. No matter how much money you have in this world and what material possessions you have, you still have an obligation some way, somehow, whether it's every month, every 6 months, every year, or whatever, to maintain that material possession. And that requires a certain level of responsibility because you have to have that money to do so on a consistent basis in a form of income. Okay? These people are starting to feel left out. And when they realize they can't call Joey anymore to go hang out in the street because Joey's got to go home and babysit while his wife goes to work, or Joey has a date, or Joey has a elderly parent to take care of now. Joey has other things to do that involve adult responsibilities. Joey can't hang out with you all day long. Okay? Sarah can't go to every single concert that you guys used to go to back when you were 18, 19 years old, because Sarah needs her money so she can make sure she can make her car payments because she's doing 3 or 4 different rideshare companies and she's got to maintain those things. She's not going to be available. But these people are still coloring with one crayon, whereas everybody else is using other crayons to build their picture. They're building their pretty picture. So I kind of hope this helps you guys. Like I said, I'm going to call this one Something for Little. And put in the comments and let me know if you know anybody like that, or if you've gone through that yourself, because I did. I did. And you have to change your mindset and open your mind just a little bit more to possibilities, because like it or not, life is going to throw you some curveballs anyway. And the more open-minded you are, the more likely you are to be able to cope with those changes, good or bad. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Peace.